We have seen it countless times in movies and television shows, criminals or mentally deranged characters escaping from insane asylums or prisons, and then running rampant across a city. It's thrilling on screen, that's for sure. We can't help but root for characters like Villanelle in Killing Eve or even Harley Quinn in Batman. Both terrible people who have murdered, yet we can't help but love them. However, today's list is far from that. We are touching on real people who have committed absolutely disgusting crimes, and in turn have found themselves locked up in insane asylums. However, some didn't stick around for long and escaped the walls of the hospital. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary times someone escaped an asylum. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, Randall Sato, Hawaii State Hospital. Randall Sato was committed to Hawaii State Hospital back in 1981 after being acquitted of the murder of Sandra Yamashiro by reason of insanity. However, back in 2017, he left the hospital and never returned. According to prosecutor Wayne Tashima, I quote, "He is a very dangerous individual and that he could commit the same heinous and violent offences again." According to the Honolulu police, Sato left the hospital at approximately 10 AM on Sunday and took a taxi to the airport. It was there that he met a plane he had chartered online under a different name, according to reports. He then changed clothes into a black jacket, white printed aloha shirt, and baseball cap before boarding a plane headed to Maui. From there, he caught a plane to San Jose, California. According to court records, Sato has since been charged with felony escape in the second degree, with bail being set at $500,000. Since being committed back in 1981, Sato has attempted to earn release from the hospital countless times over his 4-decade stay there. Back in 1993, a court denied his request for conditional release on the grounds that he continued to suffer from sexual sadism and necrophilia. Jumping ahead to 2000, and the deputy city prosecutor Jeff Albert claimed that Sato had all the criteria of a classic serial killer. Coming in at number 4, Jason Murray, Hamilton Mental Health Hospital. Back in 2018, Jason Murray was a patient potentially posing a threat to the public after escaping from the Hamilton Mental Health Hospital. The 38-year-old man at the time was being treated in the forensic unit after being found not criminally responsible back in 2016 in a case involving a concealed weapon, harassment, and threats. Now, at the time of his escape, Jason was being supervised by 2 staff members when he suddenly bolted over a fence and ran deep into the woods at around 2:30 PM. The hospital referred to it as a very unusual coincidence that these 2 things happened so close together. We're extraordinarily careful. We have a lot of processes in place to reduce the likelihood of these kind of events happening. Now, the 2 events they're referring to are the escape of Jason as well as the escape of Sina Lorne, who was on an unsupervised grounds pass when he walked away from the hospital's forensic unit on June 4th and was missing for over 24 hours. According to reports, I quote, "He threw down the coffee he was drinking and ran. The staff were unable to keep up to him." These are trained individuals. They're constantly looking to make sure there's nothing about the patient that indicates they might act in a dangerous fashion to the public or to themselves. Risk management is what we do. Lorne, who has schizophrenia and polysubstance use disorder, randomly attacked a cab driver with a machete back in 2006, and then went on to attack his roommate with a samurai sword in 2017. In both cases, the hospital had no idea why the 2 men ran away so suddenly, especially considering that they had been on the grounds many times before without incident. As to whether Jason Murray was ever apprehended, we do not know. Coming in at number 3, we have Alan Reeve, Broadmoor. Back in 1981, killer Alan Reeve escaped from Broadmoor, a high-security psychiatric hospital in Berkshire, England. At the time, he was the second killer to escape in less than 3 weeks. He supposedly escaped by scaling an 18-foot inner wall using a grappling hook attached to a makeshift rope. First of all, how does anyone obtain a grappling hook? That's what I want to know. He then managed to get over the outer wall by climbing up some scaffolding. Now, according to records, Reeve was sent to Broadmoor at the age of 15 for stabbing and clubbing to death a friend. 4 years later, and he would go on to strangle a fellow patient at the asylum. Now, unlike the rest of our list, we have the start and end to this case. We have its entire history. Alan Reeve would not return to Broadmoor for 16 years. Following his escape, he fled to the Netherlands, but a year later he was captured after shooting dead a police officer in Amsterdam and was sentenced to 15 years in jail. When Reeve was eventually released on parole in 1992, he returned to Ireland where he lived before being returned to Broadmoor in 1997. This wasn't the only time someone successfully escaped from Broadmoor, with Reeve's initial escape following that of another patient. a child killer who escaped using a rope of knotted sheets. Coming in at number 2, 2 escapees, Western State Hospital. Back in 2009, not just 1 but 2 patients at Western State Hospital in Pierce County escaped, one during an outing at a Spokane fair and the other from the hospital itself. Philip Arnold Paul, who had been committed after being found not guilty by reason of insanity in the murder of an elderly woman, disappeared during a field trip to the Spokane County Interstate Fair with 30 other Eastern State Hospital patients and 11 staff members. According to reports, this was the second time Paul had escaped from state custody. Now, 3 days before Paul, a 33-year-old man who at the time was being held in a high-security criminal forensics facility at Western State Hospital, walked away from the facility, who was apparently missing for around 2 hours before being spotted by the hospital's employees. Back to Paul though, he was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic and was committed in 1987 for the strangulation of Ruth Motley. Paul told authorities that voices in his head told him Motley was a witch who was casting spells on him. According to the sheriff's office, Paul had disappeared from his group at around 11:15 a.m, but his absence was not reported until 2 hours later, giving him a 2-hour head start. As to what happened to him, we do not know. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Anthony Garver, Western State Hospital. Back in 2016, Anthony Garver, who was 28 at the time, escaped to Western State Hospital with fellow patient Mark Alexander Adams, with both of them escaping through a loose window. Now, Anthony Garver was a deranged patient accused of torturing a woman to death, while Mark Adams had been accused of domestic assault back in 2014. It was believed that Garver bought a bus ticket from Seattle across the state to Spokane. He is a known survivalist and is said to know the Spokane County area very well. I quote, "He's comfortable being out in the wilderness and adapts pretty easily. He has hidden in the woods before." Now, like I said, back in 2013, Garver was charged with attacking a 20-year-old woman with electrical cords before committing even further disgusting acts that I can't talk about right now. Garver was charged with murder but was later found mentally incompetent to stand trial, with him then being sent to Western State. Garver has been convicted in the past of multiple charges and twice fled from authorities by stealing a car or even leading a high-speed chase. The escape is the latest in a litany of problems at the 800-bed hospital south of Tacoma, where violent assaults on both staff and patients have occurred. A federal judge also went on to state that the hospital has failed to provide timely competency services to mentally ill people charged with the crimes. Also, to leave a window loose or even open, a rookie mistake. You can't be taking those kinds of risks. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any people that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scary horror movies inspired by urban legends. This username said, "Thank you, Lucy. You are very welcome." Sorry, I can't pronounce your username. I probably can, I see KFC, I see back, I see mofo. But, you know, I'm not even going to attempt that. Free Fire Team said, "This is amazing. This video horror. Please not this video." This is a very confusing statement, but what I got from it is this video is amazing. This video is horrifying, but please not this video. It's all over the place. I don't know what you want from us, but I take it as a compliment. Ian Samuel said, "Top 5 perfect horror movies that every fan should see." That is very easy. I think Hereditary would be on my list, even though people disagree with me. Also, The Shining. Also, Rosemary's Baby. There's a lot. We'd need multiple parts. Anthony Gomez said, "I chanted Lucy 3 times in the mirror and she read my comment on this video." Well, guess what? You must have chanted again, because I'm back. And so are you. Rick C said, "I'm still eating Life cereal, it's the best." Well, as long as you're eating the cereal and not drinking Coke and Pop Rocks, because that will kill you. Michael Basinger said, "Love her commentary." I like my commentary too. Big fan of my commentary. I listen to my commentary all the time. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.